Caterpillar Undercarriage features strong, heavy-duty components designed to work and wear as a system. Our track is built to handle your most abrasive and high-impact conditions. Help maximize undercarriage performance with regular track adjustments. Taking time for maintenance today will save you thousands of dollars in repairs tomorrow. Track that's too tight puts extra stress on undercarriage and drivetrain components while wasting horsepower. Track that's too loose whips at high speed, causing wear on roller flanges and sprocket teeth. It can also result in sprocket jumping and damage to the track roller frame. How often should you perform track adjustments? Whenever track sag is out of specifications and when soil conditions and machine applications change. In abrasive materials and soils that create packing, inspect track sag more frequently. When you need undercarriage maintenance, call on the track professionals at your Caterpillar dealer. Our custom track service team has the specialized tooling, experience, and genuine CAT parts to get the job done right. And they offer complete track service, including free inspections on your job site. If you decide to perform a track adjustment yourself, before you begin, please read your operation and maintenance manual for details on your specific model. We also recommend that you review the reference material included with this tape. It lists important dimensions for measuring and adjusting your track. Here are some important guidelines to keep in mind as you adjust your undercarriage. Adjust track in the machine's working environment. Do not try to squeeze any packing material from between track parts. And do not move the tractor back and forth to tighten the track. Use a manual grease gun instead of a powered grease gun to set track tension. And most importantly, never loosen the relief valve more than one turn. Grease and oil are under pressure and can penetrate the body, causing injury or death. This tape will show you how to measure sag and adjust undercarriage on 4 track-type machines: elevated sprocket tractors, low sprocket tractors and loaders, hydrostatic loaders, and hydraulic excavators. To measure track sag on a tractor without carrier rollers, move the machine forward and let it coast to a stop without applying the brakes. Make sure slack is between the sprocket and front idler. Then park the machine and turn off the engine. Place a tight line over the grouser tips from the sprocket to the front idler. On elevated sprocket tractors without carrier rollers, measure the distance from the line to the grouser tip at the lowest point of sag. Proper track sag varies with each model. The recommended dimensions are listed in the undercarriage reference material. If your track requires adjustment, locate the hydraulic fill and relief valve in the rear roller frame and remove the inspection cover. Using a hand pump, add grease at the adjustment mechanism to tighten the track. To loosen the track, open the relief valve and allow grease to escape. Then close the relief valve. Operate the machine in forward and reverse, then remeasure track tension. Track adjustment is slightly different for elevated sprocket tractors with carrier rollers. The first 2 steps are the same. Pull the tractor forward and place a tight line over the grouser tips. This time, measure the distance from the line to the grouser tips in 2 places. At the lowest point of sag between the front idler and carrier roller, and between the carrier roller and sprocket. Then average the 2 measurements. The recommended measurements for track sag are listed in the reference material. To adjust track with carrier rollers, add grease through the adjusting valve until the track is tight. Make a mark on the ruler and track roller frame according to the dimensions listed in the reference material. Next, loosen the relief valve only 1 turn and allow grease to escape. Let the cylinder retract until the marks on the ruler and roller frame line up. When this occurs, the track is adjusted correctly. Then, close the relief valve. Operate the machine in forward and reverse and re-inspect track tension. To avoid damage to internal roller frame components, do not allow the length of the exposed tube to exceed the dimensions listed in the reference material. This applies to all elevated sprocket tractors. To measure track sag, move the machine forward and let it coast to a stop without applying the brakes. Then park the machine and turn off the engine. Place a tight line over the grouser tips from the sprocket to the front idler. Track sag should be about 2 inches or 50 millimeters. If your track requires adjustment, follow these steps. Remove the inspection plate. At the track adjustment mechanism, connect the grease gun to the fitting. Add grease to extend the hydraulic track adjuster until the idler is at maximum forward position. The relief valve should remain closed. After adding grease, the track should be almost straight between the front carrier roller and idler. On machines with 1 carrier roller per side, place a mark on the track roller frame 3/8 inch or 10 millimeters behind the rear edge of the front idler bearing assembly. On machines with more than 1 carrier roller per side, mark the track roller frame 1/2 inch or 13 millimeters behind the rear edge of the assembly. Open the hydraulic relief valve. Place a track pin or drawbar pin between the sprocket teeth near the link assembly. Travel in reverse until the idler backs up at least 1/2 inch or 13 millimeters. The pin will be in approximately the 12 o'clock position. Move the machine forward until the pin is free of the sprocket, then remove the pin. Close the hydraulic relief valve. Using the grease gun, extend the hydraulic track adjuster until the rear edge of the idler bearing assembly aligns with the mark on the roller frame. The track is now properly adjusted. The resulting sag should be about 2 inches or 50 millimeters. Operate the machine in forward and reverse, then re-inspect track adjustment. To measure track sag, move the machine forward and let it slowly come to a stop. Then park the machine and turn off the engine. Place a tight line over the grouser tips from the sprocket to the front idler. Measure the distance from the line to the grouser tip at the lowest point of sag. Proper track tension is about 2 inches or 50 millimeters. If the track requires adjustment, remove the cover for the adjusting mechanism. Add grease to move the idler forward until the track is tight. Using a straight edge, make a mark on the rod even with the recoil housing. Place a second mark on the rod 3/8 inch or 10 millimeters from the first mark in the direction of the idler. On the 973, place the mark on the rod 1/2 inch or 13 millimeters in the direction of the idler. Open the relief valve and let the idler drift back until the second mark is behind the recoil housing. Then close the relief valve. Using a grease gun, move the idler forward until the second mark is even with the recoil housing. The resulting sag should be about 2 inches or 50 millimeters. Operate the machine in forward and reverse, then re-inspect the track. As wear increases on the track link and rolling components, the distance between the piston and recoil housing will increase. Consult a Caterpillar service manual or contact your local dealer when the distance exceeds 2 inches or 50 millimeters on 943 and 953 track loaders, 2.36 inches or 60 millimeters on 963 and 973 models. To measure track sag, operate the machine in the direction of the idlers. Stop with one track pin directly over the front carrier roller. Park the machine and turn off the engine. Place a tight line or straight edge on top of the grousers between the front carrier roller and idler. Measure the distance from the line to the grouser tip at the lowest point of sag, midway between the front carrier roller and idler. For 215 through 245 excavators, proper track sag is 1 inch to 1 1/2 inches or 25 to 40 millimeters. For E70 through EL300 models and the entire 300 family of excavators, Correct track sag is 1 5/8 inches to 2 1/8 inches, or 40 to 55 millimeters. If the track requires adjustment, loosen it by opening the relief valve and allowing grease to escape. Tighten track by adding grease at the hydraulic fill and relief valve. Travel in forward and reverse to equalize tension throughout the track. Then re-inspect adjustment. Proper track tension, periodic wear measurements, and daily cleaning when working in sticky material will help you get maximum life out of every undercarriage component. Protect your investment with routine track adjustments. They can significantly reduce your cost per hour. Regular maintenance of your Cat undercarriage ensures you of the greatest value, best performance, and most predictable wear life.